Okay, welcome into the roundtable. Little bonus episode for you. I'm Brad Wakai. That is Tyson Gentry. We want to just touch on the All Star Weekend because, well, I think you probably have heard by now. Wasn't a great NBA All Star game, and there's been a ton of chatter about it. So we wanted to give you guys our thoughts. Now, we have two interesting perspectives here because I watched the entire All Star Weekend, and this was the first time I was able to watch everything, including the celebrity game throughout from start to finish. And I do not do that. And Tyson didn't watch the majority of it at all. So we have some interesting
And
stuff
this
here.
is the first time I've never. I normally
Right.
am sitting down in front of the TV, but I'm done. Dude.
Yeah. And so it's two kind of interesting, different thoughts here. So we're going to talk about what we thought overall. Tyson's caught up on the highlights, and then we're going to discuss, can we even fix the All-Star game? Is it fixable? So let's get into that now. And I'll hand it off to you because I was talking with you a little bit, but I want you to share your thoughts as somebody who didn't sit down and watch it. But I'm sure the social media buzz or, the people talking about Mac McClung and the dunk contest, it made you kind of go find those highlights.
Well, the Mac stuff was great because this is like, if you're just a kid who grew up that is the same age as Brad and I, like this is your guy. Like everyone in the country, it seemed like that when we were in high school, early years of college, it was like, holy shit, do you guys see this little 6'2" white kid just getting up and throwing these things down in high school? And then you find out, right, that he's the best player in the history of his high school, or in the state of Virginia, which is like Allen Iverson and those guys, right? Jason Williams,
Yep.
he's better than those guys. Bounces around in college a little bit, gets to the league for just like a hot second, and then he's out, and then they elevate him just for this. If Derrick Jones Jr. can make an NBA career off of not winning the dunk contest, Mac McClung should be somebody's 15th man just for layup lines.
Just some little excitement before the game. And that was the question mark coming into this, right? Because the 3-point contest is taken over. Like that's the most exciting
Which is
part
a
of the
joke,
weekend.
man. It's a joke.
It's awesome though. Like it really is cool though.
That shouldn't be the
I
most
love it. It
exciting
shouldn't be.
event. No.
Right. But it's great and it's consistent. And you don't really need to do much because these guys are just such great shooters. I mean, when Halliburton was going for 31 in the first round, I mean, that was electric. And it was like one of those things. We knew there was going to be pops. We thought maybe it would have been Lillard. Hield could get hot. There was going to be somebody who took it over, and just how it happened to be Halliburton in round one. And then eventually Lillard won it. But, the 3-point contest is consistent, right? It's awesome. We get to watch these guys bomb it. But McClung was electric. Like, there's nothing like dunking and dunking cool. And that building was completely turned up during that. And it was great that the dunk contest was finally back.
Here's the thing, dude. The 3-point contest is like Applebee's, where it's never going to be the best meal you've had, but like you know what you're getting. When you sit down, you're like, okay, like I get this. I'm gonna get myself a couple of dollar margs and we'll see where the night goes. But the dunk contest is like, it's like Cheesecake Factory, where sometimes you're food poisoned, right, when you leave that place, and sometimes you're like, oh my god, that was amazing. And that's what we got this year, right? we got a good meal. That's all it was. And then next year it's gonna suck because like no high-level star wants to compete in this, and we're not saying anything that's breaking news. But the other part is like, at what point does it become not boring, but like we're so desensitized to these insane things that these people do because we see them all over Instagram by other people that aren't in the NBA,
right?
That do all these crazy dunks, and then it's like, holy shit! You see what's his name, Jordan Klingon or something like that? He's the ponytail guy that can do all this crazy stuff. And when he's doing that on your phone, I don't really need to see Jericho Sims put his elbow in the rim. It's like, you're 7 feet tall. That's what we expect. So I think Mac kind of got lightning in a bottle here with this field and the way he's able to kind of, like, he does stuff that genuine, like, full-time dunkers on Instagram, like stuff they can't do.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I think that was great. But the best dunkers in the league aren't the superstars. And that is what people don't get. Like, you say you want Zion in the dunk contest. Zion's not going to do anything in the dunk contest that like makes you that doesn't blow your mind. He's going to do the stuff he does in warm-ups. We see it 20 times a year when he plays. It's like, the best dunkers in the league are the 14th guy off the bench. That's how they got to the NBA. They never had to learn anything else. So all they can do is dunk on people, and you don't have the star power that way. And then no stars want to compete in the event because they're scared they're going to get hurt. It's a catch-22, but it's one that the NBA kind of put itself in.
Well, I don't know. I think it's the play. I mean, it's the players, right? I mean, if you look at the best, like Vince Carter, a great player. Jordan, obviously. Dominique was top. Drexler, like Julius Irving, Kobe did it. Like, there's been great players through the lineage of this event who have competed and won it. And then LeBron was like the first star. I was like, no. And this isn't like an anti-LeBron thing, but there's no doubt that LeBron was like the first one who's like, no, I don't want to do it. And then people always said, well, he has too much to lose to it. Like, fuck that, dude. Like, you're a competitor. Go out and do it. Like, who gives a shit? And it's like Morant. Oh, I don't want to do it. Why? Oh, I need 1 billion likes to do it. Like, dude, who do you think you are? You're a third year player in the NBA. And these guys, like Reggie, is like begging him to do it because he does a 360. Like, man, whoa, Morant. I'm like, dude, anybody, these guys can do it. Like, Levine was a great dunker. Like that, Levine and Aaron Gordon was like the last great one, maybe the best one in the history of the league. Those guys are dunkers. Like, nobody wanted to trade for Levine. Like Aaron Gordon, when he went to the Nuggets, and this is to your point, did anybody like, man, the Nuggets are awesome now? It was like he's played himself into that. But I agree with you. It's like it sucks that the stars don't want to do it. And like, even if like a Zion Williamson and a Morant loses to a Mac McClung, it's still way cooler that those guys did it and lost, and Trey Murphy and Jericho Sims losing to McClung.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I think the way to fix the dunk contest to get people interested, and it'll never happen ever. But you put the best shot blockers in the league under the hoop, and we stopped doing 360s in between the legs because when you're on a breakaway and you go between the legs in the NBA, you don't go viral. You go viral for punching something home on Clint Capella. Like that's what people want to see. Those are the ones that get us up. Nobody's ever going to sign up for that, especially the bigs, because then it's like, well, shit. Like I'm just going to get murdered all night. But that's like the only way I can see it outside of stars joining the event that's going to get people genuinely interested. Because in a year, people are going to go, Mac McClung won the dunk contest? I don't think that was like something that's going to stand the test of time. It was really cool in the moment. But I think by the end of the week, we'll be like, did you see what Kyrie said?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because the NBA is such a soap opera. There's always storylines and things. Before we move into the All-Star game itself, like I just want to give my quick thoughts because I watched this whole thing. I thought the celebrity game was great, and normally I'm not interested in that stuff, but I thought they did a really good job of getting people who actually knew how to play the game a bit. Like, I thought that was good. I thought they put on a pedestal very well with Wade and his majority owner or governor or whatever they're called now in the NBA. Them pitting themselves against each other. You could see them being competitive. They actually had to compete and shoot. Wade is still a brick from three, and unfortunately, even his retirement years, like the owner, some tech guru, like outshot him. I was like, come on, man, like this is embarrassing. But that was great. And the Miz almost hit a half-court shot to win, a 4-point shot at the buzzer that had to get waved off. Like Giannis is running around going nuts. Like, it was great. And then you went to the Rising Stars game, and you never really know what you're going to get with that. Those dudes gave a shit. Like, and I was nervous. I'm like, man, if the celebrity game is going to be the best event on Friday night, we got a problem. But no, they cared. Like, these dudes were guarding, they were defending, which was awesome to see. And then Saturday, I thought was kind of a little clunky with the skills challenge, but it was still pretty fun. I mean, I think if they did the relay at the end, it would have been better than doing the shooting at the end. But that's an NBA decision to maybe fix it up a little bit. But 3-point contest, like you said, it's Applebee's, consistent. We knew what you're going to get, and then we had a banger at Cheesecake Factory with the dunk contest. So it all set up perfectly. Saturday or Sunday night, the All-Star event, baby. We got the live draft on TV. Woo! This is going to make it more competitive. People are going to be going at each other. And Tyson, it fucking sucked. Like, it was horrible. Like, no interest at all. Like, it was cool, and they started making threes, like Tatum and Mitchell. But I remember in the past, even when people weren't playing defense, like, there was, like, cool stuff going on. There was legitimately nothing cool about this game.
Well, it's like a switch. I want to say maybe 4 years ago, it became, like, strictly three-point centric in the game. Because it used to be, you're right, like it was alley-oops, and we were going to see how many times we could hot potato this thing in the air, and it was fun stuff. And then we get the occasional Dwayne Wade foul or Dwayne Wade Kobe situation, or a couple years ago when it was Team LeBron, and that was the game where it was pretty close. LeBron had to come down and hit a game winner, but they were guarding and they were after each other, and that last 5 minutes made up for the previous 43. But the rest of the game sucked. And then since then, it's been like, actually want to be here. Let's just take shooting practice, and all these people are going to watch anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth on tuning into this game. I checked into the box score like middle of the second quarter, and I want to say they'd already combined to shoot like 30 or 43s. And I just decided I didn't want to put it on because honestly, like that's not a representation of the NBA. And everyone wants to talk about how they only shoot threes now and stuff. It's like that's not how every team plays. It's just not how they play basketball. And so when you watch the All-Star game, it's like looks nothing like the thing that we just saw a week ago.
And that's the most disappointing thing. And like they try to change up with the Elam ending, so you had the set target score you have to get to after the first 3 quarters. And in theory, that makes you play a little bit harder in the fourth quarter. The problem was Team Giannis just bombing threes from in the third quarter, and Team LeBron didn't care enough to like cut it to a deficit that was actually attainable. And so then Team Giannis is like, well, we're not going to try. We'll just keep bombing threes. And then they just kept like, it was bad. It was hard to watch. Like, I don't know. And so let's move into this. I mean, can the All-Star game be fixed? And that's what people are trying to figure out right now. Can the actual event with the biggest stars in the sport, can it be fixed to where they're either competing or it's that it's cool? I don't know if it is, Tyson, because there's not a monetary sum that you can motivate these guys with. They make way too much money, whether it's from their contract or their shoe deals. Like they just want to go out there, have the pageantry, get a little cardio session in. I mean, that's what Lucas said when he was mic'd up. Like, is there any way, in your opinion, that this game can be fixed?
No, this is way too far gone. It's been too far gone for a little while. And you can kick around as many ideas as you want, like the one-on-one competition that went around the internet like maybe 3 years ago. That'd be super cool, but they're not going to line up. Because another little fun fact for you out there, your superstars aren't the best one-on-one players in the game, right? Like nobody's tuning in to watch Spencer Dinwiddie take fourth in the one-on-one contest. 3-on-3 would be super cool. How do you split that up? How do you ensure that they try? And to be honest with you, Brad, the monetary thing is the thing that makes the most sense to bring this back to being interesting. But I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these dudes winning at every turn with the NBA. The NBA has let the athlete walk all over them, which is good for the athlete. It's bad for us at home as far as viewing. And not saying that we're not happy with player empowerment and all that stuff. But they decide they aren't going to play 20 out of the 82 games during the year for load management, for rest. Then they decide they want to be traded whenever to whoever. And they basically force these organization hands over and over again. And so to hijack the NBA All-Star game, to me, just feels like that should be in the CBA. It's like, okay, we've given you guys everything. Just give a shit for 48 minutes, please. Like, we need this. There's no way to fix it. Like, what are you going to promise them, $1 million each? Like, that sounds awesome.
That's not enough.
No, the only person like really getting excited about it this weekend, like Lauri Markkanen, would have been pumped.
Right, that's a good point.
And he's it.
Yeah, it's just the monetary is not going to work. The only way that I can see this, and it's like, how does that even happen, is if the players themselves actually start to give a shit. And you heard Jaylen Brown, well, that's not how basketball should be played. Then, dude, go out there and compete. Like, get your team to play. And it's like, I get it. If you're in like the minority of players on your team who's not going to be playing hard, then it sucks. And I think Jaylen Brown, it seemed like he took it seriously. There's always a few guys who take it seriously. But then there's the people like Luka, Jokic. They don't care. Embiid always is going to go out there and try to score points. That's just how he is. Like if Giannis was playing, he'd do the same. But when you have the majority of guys kind of looking around like, all right, we taking this thing seriously? Or are we just going out there and doing cardio? That's what you're going to get. It's a cardio session. Them run up and down, chucking threes, practice session, like you said. And let's get out of here and kind of shake everybody's hands, and we'll go on our vacation until we play on Thursday. Like that's what it was.
It's in the NBA wants to put a midseason tournament in amongst all the teams. I don't like that idea very much. I think it sounds cool on paper. A lot of people are like, well, that's what soccer does. But soccer has, first of all, a million different leagues, a whole bunch of people and teams eligible for promotions, demotions, relegations, all that stuff. So it's like, okay, the Wizards show up to your preseason or your midseason tournament. Why? Nobody's tuning in. Like nobody's going to tune in because nobody tunes in when they play the Hawks on Tuesday. Nobody's going to tune in on Sunday of All-Star Weekend to watch that. The NBA is in an impossible situation here. And to be honest, that's like the Pro Bowl sucks. The
Yeah,
MLB All-Star game is getting to the point where it's the best one probably, but it's like the best pitchers in the world pitch an inning. A
right.
hitter might get an at bat, and so the All-Star game era in professional sports is pretty much just dead.
Yeah, I will say I watched a little bit of the NHL this season. It was pretty cool. So
They do it better.
they do a good job. They did a good job. And so what they do, they did 3-on-3, but if they're different divisions. So you have 2 divisions in each conference, and then you match up the team and you have different ice changes and things like that. So maybe you do that where you can draft out of your respective divisions the All-Star, but I don't even know if that's even possible. Or maybe you take the West and you played an Elam ending and kind of make a little tournament like they did for the Rising Stars, but I'm not sure if that works either. So listen, people are going to be trying to figure this out. The problem is here too, Tyson, I know we're going a little long here for what we plan to do, but does the NBA even give a shit?
No,
Or are they just like, you're going to watch anyway, and we just want the players to be happy?
they want to act fake outrage after this happens, and then after it happens next year, they'll be like, "We got to do something," and it's going to result in them putting a 4-point shot in the NBA All-Star game because that's what they do in the NBA. They overreact to the wrong things, and they're going to make it worse, and then we're going to get 64-point attempts in 2026.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't want to sound too cynical on this thing, but the NBA players in these events have not given us any reason why we should have faith. I mean, it's been a steady decline. And yeah, that first Elam ending, like when LeBron hit the game winner, it was like, this is great. And the players like, awesome. We don't care anymore. That was fun for 1 year.
Yeah, it's
So
it's impossible, man.
it's impossible. All right. Well, that's going to do it. We just want to give our all-star thoughts. Yeah, good weekend overall, I thought. And then the Stars just laid an egg, which was unfortunate. Like, subscribe, and share the show. Follow us on our social media pages. We really appreciate you watching us. We have a ton of content out coming soon. So we'll talk to you guys later this week. Peace.